All right, ladies and germs. Thank you for being here. We got a little late night unpopular opinion, kind of like yell off type situation. Mercury's in Gatorade. The world is on fire. Everything's dumb and backwards. But I caught a couple of things that I wanted to tickle your bag about real quick before I lose my tonsils and can't speak for a couple of days. So like I said, Mercury's in Gatorade, the moon is full, everything is on fire, the world is trash. And I felt it would be a good time to talk about what I would believe to be a fairly unpopular opinion. What's up, Biggie? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. So, for those who don't know, I'm getting my tonsils taken out on Thursday morning of this week. Probably won't be able to talk for a couple of days. Somebody's like, show me your dirt star. Not this early. That's going to be on my OnlyFans. Trust the flan. Anywho, before I got sidetracked with propositions of dirt star photogs, yeah, so I'm getting my tonsils taken out on Thursday. I'm not going to be able to talk. Somebody said tickle your tonsil bag. Like that. Love that. Probably going to put it on a t-shirt. So, like I said, I wanted to come on and just crank one right into your brown eye and let it marinate for a couple of days while I just lay here and just like watch band documentaries. Somebody's one time was like, band documentaries? What band? Like Motley Crue? No, band. BANNED, band, whatever. You get it. You guys get it. You guys are based. You guys are woke. All right. Unpopular opinion. I believe that the right falls into a lot of the emotional distraction traps that the left falls in, and I find myself less and less aligned with the theoretical right and or left and or conservative, whatever label. And I feel like I'm probably not the only one that gets lumped into this this like binary of you're either this or you're this. So the specific topic that I wanted to talk about that I feel like everybody on the theoretically the right, or however you want to phrase it, how everybody is getting trapped right now is in this Christina Aguilera story. So, and like, it's not even Christina Aguilera. It's the kids going to the shows and it's the parades, and you guys get it. I can't even say the words, because everything's stupid and everything's on fire, and like I said, Mercury's in Powerade or whatever it is. The moon is full, the lights are dark. Nancy's a demon. She turns into a werewolf when the sun comes out or whatever. You guys get it. But I think this whole like Christina Aguilera, the parade, the show, whatever, I think it's a trap. And I'm gonna kind of they, them, my explanation of why I think that this is a trap that I think a lot of people are falling into. Now, let me start by prefacing this by what I think most general rational people would agree with, which is that we don't want people to be, they got to be careful about the words. Nobody wants people trying to convince kids to believe crazy things. Nobody wants to, and when I say nobody, I mean rational people. I don't mean crazy. I don't mean crazy upside down, crazy upside down pink-haired people that are screaming at the moon and they're like, take all my freedom to save my son who is a hippopotamus, but don't call him a son. He's X. He's Zimzer or whatever. You guys understand what I'm talking about. I don't mean everybody. I just mean most people. I think that the right, like generally speaking, what do we say about like lib or leftists or whatever? They're emotionally driven. They scream and shout. They're emotionally angry, and they're angry that you don't see the world the way that they see the world, so they scream it into your face hole, right? and they're irrational. They're what we would believe to be irrational, but in their mind, they believe that what they're saying and what they're talking about is rational. They think that the way that we see the world is wrong, and vice versa. It's like this trap, right? So in the same way that a person on the theoretical, let's call it the left, just for the sake of the conversation, let's say they're like, no child, you shouldn't teach a 14-year-old how to use a rifle, let's say. See, I shouldn't even have said that word, but whatever. The world is trash. Okay? We shouldn't teach a 14-year-old how to use a rifle. On the right, somebody's going to say, well, it's important for a person to understand how to protect themselves, how to protect their family, how to protect their homestead. Look how it was 200 years ago. Protect against an overbearing, centralized government structure or a one world government or someone that's trying to take their kids or take their family or take their rights or whatever. It's what America was founded on. You should teach a young kid how to use a weapon to protect themselves. And some people will say they shouldn't know how to do. If a father gives a kid a rifle and shows them how to use it, how to shoot skeet or how to shoot pigeons or how to shoot ducks or whatever, we would generally say this is a correct thing to do. This is a natural order of things. And we would all agree with that. But on the same side, you could understand, even though you may not agree, you could rationally understand how a person on the other side of the argument would be like, you shouldn't be giving a fire like to a child. They could hurt themselves. They could hurt other people. They could do bad things. Because in a world where everything is not perfect, where we have yin and yang, where we have duality, with freedom comes risk. With bad comes good. It's black and white. It's the duality of the world. There's this famous quote, or not even famous, there's a quote by Al Franken, who I don't even really care for politically, but he says it's easier to wear slippers than carpet the whole world. It's easier to protect kids in schools by putting other people in there to protect those kids in the schools, which all of us, who what we would believe to be a rational decision is, put a person there to defend them. Put a higher fence, put a centralized entry point and exit point, put more security, cameras, a metal detector, whatever we believe is correct. And on the other side, they'll say, well, you just got to ban it outright, right? You got to put all these checks. It's a law that says such and such. Those exact same laws that would arrest you if you were out at a park with your kids sliding on the slide, those exact people are going to somehow determine who gets to keep their rights and who doesn't, even when they haven't committed a crime. But whatever, let's just back up from that. Okay, so you understand that how people could see it on one side and how they see it on the right. We all understand that. We think we're right. They think they're right. The truth, the reality, what it should be is probably somewhere in the middle, right? Something where both parties leave a little bit uncomfortable. Okay. Now, take this issue of these parades and take the issue of let's specifically isolate Christina Aguilera. Right now, you got record inflation, foreign affairs that are absolutely outrageous, the threat of nuclear fallout higher than it's been since the Cold War. You've got every possible financial institution warning of this massive financial hurricane. You have unserviceable debt to the tune of 30 some odd trillion dollars, of which we could never service even if we wanted to. You got inflation going off the chart, marking mark after mark after mark of high inflation, of which most of us have never even seen in our lifetime. And some people saw back in the Nixon, Jimmy Carter, such era, whatever. And then you have this problem where you have all of these people that are unable to purchase a home, the one vehicle that would help them be financially independent and free. And they can't afford that because the prices are off the chart. And then at the same time, you're raising the interest rates, which makes it so they can't even afford it. So you're about to have a housing crisis. You got the pullout in AFGU, where those 13 service members lost their life for absolutely nothing. We left an arsenal of weapons, of tanks, of helicopters, of missiles, of unwrapped night vision goggles, a technology which many other places in the world don't even have, overseas to the tune of $80 billion. You got a basically dead person that's supposedly theoretically running the country, that's making threat after threat. You got Taiwan, you got China, you got our GDP shrinking. We're on the heels of a recession. You have every possible, imaginable, terrible, horrible, no good, very bad thing simultaneously occurring at the exact same time. And then you have the right or the conservative right or whatever you want to call it, who prides themselves on isolating why are we getting distracted? Squirrel, 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 squirrel. That's what we always talk about. Yet, just like that, every single person on the right gets totally thrown into a hole and gets something blasted and gets a 12-inch bejazzled dildy from Christina Aguilera, who even cares about first of all. And everybody's worried about this because of how disgusting it is. And they're like, can you believe Christina Aguilera? Yeah. And here's what I want to say about it. This is a trap. It's a distraction. And here is the theoretical right, the conservative right, falling into the exact same emotionally driven trap that they fall in all the time. Doing the exact same screeching and shilling and howling and screaming and scrumbling that we accuse them of doing. We're screaming about this is disgusting. Well, they thought it was disgusting when you didn't take a mysterious juice and inject it into your brown eye. They think it's disgusting when you didn't listen to a guy that ran the National Institute of Garbage for 40 years. They thought that was disgusting. They thought that when a 10-year-old, that when you sent a kid to school that was 10 years old that didn't get the mystery juice, they thought that was disgusting, deplorable. They used all that emotionally driven, emotionally charged language to blast it in your brown eye. And all of us are like, oh, can you believe this? Like, freedom, rights and freedoms. Yet here we are, the theoretical right, worried about a bejazzled Pen 15 on some washed up clown sneaker in fucking Los Angeles. That's what we're worried about. And I'm not saying that I agree with it. I'm not saying that I'm cool with it. I'm not saying that it's good. I'm just saying, who gives a shit what Christina Aguilera wears around her waist? She's washed up. She's tapped. Who cares? It's this exact same emotional trap that they fall in constantly. And here we are getting trapped in the exact same thing. Here's a news flash. If it's not illegal for you to do it, I don't give a shit what you do. I don't care if Christina Aguilera wears a bejazzled dildy on a stage in Los Angeles. You ever been to Los Angeles? It smells like urine. People are asleep there. People are living in another dimension. They're injecting poison into their face and putting poison bags into their. They're all types of scrooged up over there. Yeah, this is par for the literal course. They're on all types of Zanzibars and pills and this and that. They're all depressed inside. They're sad. They're rotten to the core. Yeah, I'm not surprised that Christina Aguilera has a bejazzled dildy on a fucking stage in Los Angeles. Who cares? Yeah, this is what I'm trying to say. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's good, but I'm not going to scream about it, about how bad it is, or be like outraged about it. There's kids there. Then maybe we should be mad at the kids that brought their child to this show. As far as I could see, this show happened at night. What's your kid doing out at night? Okay, so let's take it even another step. If a person believes that their kid can be ready to shoot a rifle, well, shouldn't they, in theory, be able to take their child to go see a bejazzled Christina Aguilera? It's like you can't. Watching Christina Aguilera be a questionable clown sneaker is objectively, I suppose, in theory, physically not as dangerous as teaching them how to protect themselves. Yet we're cool with that. It's like, it's just this double standard bullshit that I feel like everybody just gets in this trap. And it's like, I'm not happy with it either. I think it's dark and it's bad, and I want to protect kids just as much as the next guy. But for us to just like shriek and squeal and be like all upset about this, when the person you should be upset with is like the person that's a bag of rice parent that's bringing their kid there. But then let's even back it up and let's even say this. You ever seen what's on TV right now? You ever seen what's on a video game right now? If a kid could play a video game and slaughter 5,000 zombies or whatever, or play Grand Theft Auto, and that doesn't affect their mind, then how come Christina Aguilera with a bejazzled Pen 15 all of a sudden does? It's like, I understand what you're saying, and I'm with you. I really am, and I want to protect the kids as much as the next guy. But you sound like you're saying no Grand Theft Auto because kids you can't play shoot 'em up video games. You can't listen to Eminem. When I was 13 years old, I listened to Eminem talk about doing all types of deplorable actions to his wife, to women, to other people, and I didn't do none of that. I turned out completely fine. And you know why? Probably because I had a cohesive family unit and good parents. But it wasn't about the act. It was about the other things, the other environmental factors. So I'm just saying, everybody being like pearl clutching about Christina Aguilera, to me, is the same emotionally driven, like, cultural trap that they fall in all the time. It's disgust. So they skreek and shriek and squeal because, like, you can think that it's bad and you can think that people shouldn't be there. But sadly, that's what are you going to do about that? Because this is where I think it takes the turn. Okay. Because, like, then you have, like, the parades. If you take your kid to a parade where this type of thing is meant to happen, if the people in the parade are not breaking the law, if they're not breaking the law, if walking down the street with your meat and veg swinging around and you acting like a furry dog person, if that's not illegal, then have at it, Bill. Do I think what you're doing, do I think the impression that's happening on those kids is good? No, of course not. Do I think that a 7-year-old should listen to an Eminem album? No, of course not. But it's not my place to say that you shouldn't or couldn't or whatever do that. If that's what you want to do, I think that's messed up. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to pearl clutch and scream and squeal about it, because then it's like, yeah, it's bad, but there's bigger fish to fry. What about all the other bad things? So we're just going to get stuck in this trap complaining about this shit. Oh, it's a parade. It's out in the open. There's kids there. Yeah, I don't like that either. But who you should be really mad at is the people that bring their kids to the parade, not the parade itself. If they're not breaking a law, the job of the government is not to say what you can and can't do. Oh, if it's like, okay, if nudity is illegal in public, okay, if they're illegal, if they're nude and no one's arresting them, then who's it on? It's on the city. It's on the police for not arresting them for breaking the law. But if they're not breaking the law, if they're out in the street swinging their meat and veg around and they're like, look at my Pen 15, I got lube in the truck, and it's a big, and it's a healthy man in clown makeup or whatever, wearing a corset that thinks that has like some dysphoria where they're like, call me a hippopotamus. My name is Jennifer now. It's like, no, Larry, it's not. But if that's what they want to do, okay. If they're not breaking the law, have at it, Bill. Do I think it's good? Do I think I agree with it? Do I think it's good for children? Absolutely not. But if they're not breaking the law, then what are we doing? We're going to scream and why? And then what? What do we want? We want laws. We want more laws. The freedom-loving American, the freedom people, the freedom. If it's not in the Constitution, blah blah blah. We're over here like make laws now against this. So the one that throws me for a loop is the kids in the bar with the men that are dressed up. Look. Again, all of my previous statements are still spot on. Do I think it's good? No. Do I think they should do it? No. Do I think it's bad for the kids? Yes. Do I think that those parents should really reconsider what the hell they're doing? Absolutely. Do I think that the person that's throwing that event is probably not a good person? Yep. Do I think all these things? Yes. But do I think that there should be a law that says that they can't do that? What are we out here saying that there should be more laws? It's like, this is supposed to be freedom, right? Conservative constitution, right? You can't just say that I ideologically dislike this and therefore big daddy government, my governor or my senator or my whoever needs to come in and rain down on this because I disagree with it. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm just saying if they're not breaking the law, then I don't think that we should be like, we should make a law against this. And it doesn't mean that I'm cool with what they're doing, but I'm just saying if it's not against the law, then it's like, okay. So what I'm saying is like, if you want to be mad at it, talk about it, whatever, try to shame them for doing that. Okay, I'm okay with that. But I just you lose me when you suggest that there should be a law passed to prevent this from happening. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So like there was like some whispers on the interwebs of Big Ron, the Santa Claus, the mayor of Florida, the king of Florida, the Sultan, being like, oh, like he's thinking about passing a law to make it illegal to bring a kid into this type of show. And it's like, look, again, and I'm going to reiterate, the show is bad. Bringing a kid to a show with dudes that are dressed up like such and having them in this sexualized situation, bad. Everybody agrees that it's bad. We all disagree with it, probably. Okay. But if it's not against the law, I'm not saying that we need to create some law. Okay, so let's say that we created a law. Well, what constitutes a drag show? What's a drag show? Is it a man in woman's clothing? Well, what if it's a man wearing a turtleneck and a floor-length dress? Is that illegal? Is that a drag show? What makes it drag? Where do you draw the line of drag versus not drag? Is it because it's a man in woman's clothing? No, that's fine. They could wear a Florida whatever dress. Because then it's like, oh, what about at Disney World? If there's a mascot that's dressed up as a woman, is it now illegal? What's a drag show, right? What constitutes a drag show? It's this gray area. So then it's like, oh, well, it's a sexualized drag show. Did they do anything sexual? No. So when's the sexual? It's sexual when they put money in the waistband. Okay, you say that's the sexual thing? Fine. You want to ban money in the waistband? We can't even find people that commit crimes in broad daylight on fucking camera in the middle of a city in America. And you think that there's going to be police officers enforcing who puts money in a fucking waistband in some bar and who gives a shit? You know what I'm trying to say? It's just like, going to daddy government to come and create some new law to enforce something that you believe is ideologically bad is a trap. It's a trap. They're trying to trap us into creating more laws and more authority and more extraction of your cash and more inflation and more everything. So I just think as a person that considers themselves to be right, libertarian, conservative, freedom-loving, American, whatever, you shouldn't be on the bandwagon of there should be new laws created to stop this thing that I disagree with, because if it's not breaking the law, who cares? You can shame that business and say, this business is messed up. I'm not going to give them my business. You can talk about how they're doing it and shame that business, and hopefully the free market lowers the amount of income that they can make so that they don't do those types of shows again. You can do all that. But to say that the government needs to come in and make some law about it is completely backwards and a total trap. It's a Band-Aid. It's a pacifier on the theoretical conservative right, falling right into the same emotionally driven trap that they find themselves caught in all the time. The exact same thing that we have the problem with, we're now saying create a law about it because DeSantis is in charge. Well, what about when some other psycho's in charge? And what about when they say, well, what about this? This is disgusting. How could you bring a kid to a insert whatever? How could you bring a kid to a rated R movie before it's like, well, where do you draw the line? There's a lot of fucked up shit that I seen in a rated R movie that was worse than what I saw in those bars. Again, I don't agree with them. Yes, it's real life, but I'm just saying, where do you draw the line? Sometimes you just have to give society the benefit of the doubt. Bad things can happen. Things you have to trust. You have to trust the people to do right by their family and themselves. That's what freedom is all about. You're gonna have bad things happen. That's the nature of the game. So just to be like, oh, like this is disgusting, we should pass some law against this, I just think it's completely backwards and a total emotionally driven cultural trap that the right is finding itself in. That's ultimately making us look stupid. And it's like, this is what we're going to worry about? Christina Aguilera with a bajazzy dildy on a stage in LA? Who cares? If you brought your kids there, who hurt you? Like, show me on Elon where they touched you, because you're a weirdo. And like, your kids are probably mad weird. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of real bad things that happen in all types of different situations, and being like, oh, like it's Christina. Like, and I'm not trying to make fun of people that are pointing this out, because I think shining a light on darkness is a good thing. I'm just saying, is this the thing that we're going to worry about? Is this the thing we're going to talk about? Is this going to be the top of the hour news item on every show today? Is this what we're going to do all the talking points about? Is Christina Aguilera in a dildy? Who cares? It's like, so what? Yeah, I don't like it either. But that's why if I had kids, I wouldn't have them there. I wouldn't be like, let's bring the kids to downtown LA where Christina Aguilera is having a show with a bejazzled dildy and some other Randall. Oh, wait, it smells like urine. That guy just pooped on the sidewalk. Like, let's bring the kids here. Oh, the sun went down. Mercury's in Gatorade. Let's let the kids hang out here. Let's get closer. It's like I don't even know. I'm just saying, I've seen kids at music festivals. I've seen kids at music festivals, and I'm generally like, that's cool. If you want to bring your kid to a music, kids and people are like chilling. They're like sitting in a circle. But there's some people that are smoking weeble wobble. There's people that had a couple too many wobbly pops that are face down in the dirt. There's probably some dude on fentanyl doing somersaults. There's a guy that's like, hey man. There's a guy that smells like urine and sweat but it's like, you can't just be like, it's illegal for you to have the kid at the music festival. If you're not breaking the law, that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. There's a lot of people in certain parts of the country that would say giving a weapon to an 8-year-old so they could shoot a pheasant is disgusting. So it's like we have to just be a little bit more tolerant on how quickly we are to be like, I need my daddy lawmaker to come in and ban this because I think it's morally reprehensible. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's like we can all think it's bad, but when you say that there should be a law against it because you believe it's bad, I think that that's a trap. And I think that that's an emotionally driven, screechy, yelly, like, type argument that to me is counterproductive to the whole philosophy of freedom, liberty, do your own thing. Maybe we should focus on, you should focus on the nuclear family. You should have parents that are actually doing a good thing. You should have children that are well educated, that understand the world. But to say that it's illegal or it's like, well, shame on the organizers for saying it's all ages. But if the city allows it, okay, then shame on the city. But to say like shame on Christina Aguilera, it's like, what are we even talking about? Like, we're all worried about this. It's just like, I don't know. And like I said, I'm not trying to talk about people that talk about it because I think talking about it and shining a light on it is good. That's the free market, shining light on darkness to maybe adjust how people behave financially, mentally, what they're thinking about, whatever, and alter their behavior going forward. But where you lose me and where you lose the theoretical conservative or libertarian, whatever box you want to put us in, is when you say that there should be a law that makes this illegal, when it's like, should it be illegal? Because I'm under the idea, I subscribe to the ideology that there are already too many laws. There are already too many laws that are objectively unenforceable. And there's so much mayhem out there that for us to be like, look, it's Christina Aguilera, it's like, what a perfect trap. Can you imagine the organizers of that event being like, oh my God, let's put a strappy boy on this washed up clown sneaker and let's have her wear a He-Man chest and have her swing it around for like 30 seconds and the whole world will explode. And then every stupid news outlet can be like, conservatives lose their tits because Christina slays. It's like, it's just a perfect trap. And then it's like, oh, you're anti-whatever. You're anti-freedom. You're anti-expression. That's how I feel, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's a better argument than our argument of you should teach a 14-year-old how to shoot ski or shoot a pheasant. Like, literally. And I'm just saying, like, watching Christina Aguilera like swing her meat log around on stage, like a fake meat log that she strapped to herself with some Bejazzly Boys Swarovski crystals on it, is like objectively less theoretically dangerous to other people than a freaking ski shoot. You know what I mean? Than like a 30-06. It's like, I don't know. I'm just saying, it's like, this is an unpopular opinion. It's hard to say this because it's like, you want to groom? It's like, I get how there could be a theoretical backlash. Like, oh, you want the kids to such and such? It's like, no, I want to protect the kids. Objectively, you can look at all the things that I put out and all the things that I say and see that I'm clearly on that side, on that ideological side. But to say that there should be laws about it and we should go and have DeSantis come in and enforce this or whatever, I just think is a social, cultural, screechy, pearl clutching, super lefty, lib mentality, an emotional trap that distracts us from the shit that really matters. Because why ex-Tina was swinging around her hog on stage and everybody was worrying about that, every other bad thing ever was happening, like the CPI going over 10% and every other thing. The largest oil drilling lease in American history got canceled in the Gulf of Mexico. It's like, there's a million bad things. And again, I'm not saying don't talk about it. I'm just saying don't suggest that there should be laws against it, because to me, that is the opposite, the total antithesis of everything that we're supposed to believe in. We're supposed to believe that a free society is more important than everyone being theoretically safe. Liberty, freedom, and the American way, American values are more important than our theoretical ideological problems with whatever is the sensational thing of the day. Because to me, the Christina Aguilera with the bejazzled dildy on is fucking Elvis. Because 85 years ago or whenever the fudge brownie Elvis was even playing, I don't even know. It doesn't even matter. But when Elvis came out, every person like us would be like, are you seeing this Elvis guy with the pink suit on? He's gyrating his hips. He's got my daughter looking all wet. My daughter's getting all wet. It's like, bro, that's what they did to Elvis. You know, Christina Aguilera with a bejazzled meat log on stage in Los Angeles during Rainbow Month, and us being like, ah, is like being like, that dang Elvis in his suede shoes. It's like, what? I get it. I really do. I really get it. But it's like, no. You know, just literally no. I don't know. I'm just saying. I just feel like it's a trap. And while we're like all stuck like on our like morality high horse of like, this shouldn't be a thing, it's like, you can say it shouldn't be a thing. But as I've said, and I will repeat again, you shouldn't be like, there needs to be a law against it. If it's not against the law, you know, and I feel bad for all the lost soul parents that are bringing their kids to this stuff. I feel bad for all the children that are susceptible to this. But the reality is that unless children become wards of the state and every single thing is monitored and protected, there's no reason that those parents couldn't show those kids that video of her from the internet at their house. There's no reason that they couldn't say or talk about that stuff at their house. And if they believe that that is the best thing for their kid to be inclusive or aware of whatever it is going on, as much as I hate to say it, it's like, who the hell, what is it our position to say what you teach your children was something that to me seems like Elvis wearing a pink suit and dancing when gyrating his hips? I'm just saying, it's like, I get it. And I want to protect the kids too. But it's just like, I just don't think that this kind of like blanket idea of like ban everything and it'll solve all of our problems is a solution at all. It creates more bureaucracy, more control, more centralized power. And ultimately it's a trap that I think a lot of people end up getting caught in. And I think that it's a conservative pearl clutching moment where everybody gets trapped in the exact same things that people on the left get trapped in. And it ends up being this, it ends up feeding back into the whole theory of like the culture war. And then they use it at us and they're like, look at conservatives going crazy because Christina Aguilera. And then they're all just like, slay, they're out of touch. It's not your grandfather's Republican Party. It's this ultra super califragilistic MAGA gang. It's like, they're like, they think that they're like the hip, the modern, the progress. They think that they're above your level of thinking. They think that we are too stupid to understand that this is the way of the world. They're like, these guys are stuck in the past. It's your dusty old grandma's opinion. And this is yet another perfect example of people going grandpa style and being like, get off my lawn, ex-Tina. It's like, get new sod. I don't know. Or it's like, move. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, get turf. I don't know. I just think that this is a trap, and I think that it makes the theoretical right. I don't even want to say us. Look kind of whack. And I think that a lot of people are looking for the cultural side of things when they make these decisions. I think the vast majority of people that choose to make their decisions when it comes to these selections, when they go and cast their ballot, a lot of them are choosing based on cultural reasons. So it's like, it's not about winning the battle, it's about winning the war. It's not about winning the battle, it's about winning the war. Let Christina Aguilera make a fool of herself and everybody know that they're doing dumb shit. And if a parent is stupid enough to bring their kid to show them that, then shame on them. But is it illegal? Are they breaking the law? If I disagree with them, does that mean that I have to use the long pen 15 of the law to come down and hit them hit them on the ear with it? It's like, you can't protect everybody from everything. It's the nature of a free society. If you want to say, oh, they're breaking the law, they're showing nudity or they're showing whatever else, okay, then shame on the law enforcement for not enforcing that. Shame on them for not doing that. But to just be like, oh, like I think there should be legislation about this. It's like, why? I think there should be legislation about Eric Swalwell clapping Fang Fang, yet this guy still has a position. It's like of all the things that we're going to say, it's like we're playing right into their hands. Like I'm telling you, Christina Aguilera's people, and they were all sitting back in the backstage, and they were like, "Oh my God, slay queen! We're gonna do this," and the right's gonna go nuts, and they're playing right. We're playing right into their hands. Not we, whatever people. So again, to reiterate, I don't agree with it. I don't think it's good. I'm just saying, is this the cultural hill that we want to theoretically die on? It's like, to me, it's just a distraction from the things that really matter. Yet, here we are talking about it, you know? And like every single thing is like about these parades. And like, look, I follow this guy or girl, whatever. I follow a person on TikTok and on Instagram that is not the thing they were assigned at birth anymore, whatever. And I'm watching and I'm like, as much as I disagree with what this person is doing, it's like, that's what they want to do. And even though I may want to save you theoretically from something that I believe is going to be bad for you, well, what about things like alcohol? What about things like marijuana? It's like, what about that? What about all the bad things that people do and can do to themselves that generally people would disagree with? It's like, you can go to a store and you could buy a handle of Bacardi 151 every hour on the hour in every building in the planet, and you could poison yourself and hurt yourself. You could eat garbage food. You could do all this stuff to mess yourself up. You could cut your ear off. And it's like, we want to save you, but it's like, how are you going to prevent people from making mistakes with their life? You can try to sound the alarm. You can try to draw attention to it and shine a light on it. And I think that that's good and a quality thing. But it's like, of all the bad things that are happening, it's just like, to me, Christina Aguilera is such a useless target in this particular thing. It's like, I'm going to focus on this. It's total squirrel, in my opinion. Squirrel. So I just feel like it's such a trap. And I don't think that it's just that. I think that there are so many things that the right does that it doesn't have outrage about, and then it'll have outrage about the other side. And let me give you an example. Generally speaking, every person that would align themselves with the ideological left, leftism, progressivism, liberalism, whatever you want to call it, would say that everybody on the right is every person that believes these set of things. And then in that mix, what do we got? Supremes. Even though there's not that many, you got Supremes. You got bad cops in there because it's back to blue, right? So you lump them all in. You got the bad cops. You got the reason, and you got any of the skin color people over there that are objecting to that because they look at the world from this side and they're all lumped in, right? Whereas 99.99% of people that align themselves theoretically with the ideological right, Republican Party, whatever you want to call it, conservatism, liberalism, or libertarianism, whatever, they don't agree with all that. Yet they're in our group, right? Well, we don't like that these people get thrown in our group. We don't agree with all the people. We don't agree with the people wearing sheets and hoods. We don't agree with that. We don't agree with all the bad things. The people that happen to agree with traditional American values, morality, the nuclear family, etc. We don't agree with all the people that happen to also see the world that way. On the flip side of it, it's not fair for us to say that Christina Aguilera, for example, represents the left. Just because the left is more susceptible and you have someone like a Kamala Harris going there and hugging them on stage and they support it, and you have Nancy Pelosi on RuPaul's Drag Race, you still can't lump all of them in together and say this is this. You can't just say this is leftism, because lots of leftists tend to be okay with it because they would say that a lot of people on the right agree with this. So it's just like we're like, we could be a victim of our own accusations. It's like if we don't like being lumped in with people that don't dislike people based on the color of their skin, we can't say that every person that believes in progressive things like the minimum wage being $800 and free college for everybody, we can't say that a free college for everybody person, or a person that generally aligns with the left or progressivism or free college or whatever, somehow thinks that you should slice off a piece of your arm and create a pen 15 out of thin air. Even though that generally seems to be the side that agrees that that's okay, we can't lump them into that, because then we're falling into the exact same trap that they're placing us in. We can't just say that every liberal is Ron Perlman, insane, unhinged Ron Perlman, shooting camera angles up his jaw, even though he's been on camera his entire life, screaming obscenities into the camera about Ron DeSantis, about a law that he didn't even read. We can't just say that's liberalism. We have to be like, that's this insane guy that happens to believe this theoretical ideology that this side generally agrees with, but we can't just lump them all into that. We can't say like, all libs are, all progressives are, all the left is X, when it generally isn't. Unless we can expect that they would say the exact same thing about us as it relates to all these far right, whatever you want to call it, people that are mad about the color of your skin. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like, it's a trap. And I think that we have to stay more focused on the things that really matter, that specifically involve the government. We can't be so wrapped up in the culture war, which we are so mad about. The cancel culture, the culture war, we hate that, right? Well, we can't also conversely be wrapped up in that exact same thing when we go to target them, in theory, or people that agree with this general view of things. We can't say this is this. We can't say leftism is Lil Nas X, even though Lil Nas X, and they may, like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? You can't just be like, Lil Nas X is Kamala Harris, is the person that wants, they, thems in school and free college and increased taxes. You see what I'm trying to say? It's like, there's a lot of people that are in there that don't agree with those things that we're lumping together and be like, they want Christina Aguilera to hit them in their face with an Italian zazige, with a bejazzled zazige. Because there's a lot of people that just like want free college and free money and free everything. And they think Elon Musk is like a sorcerer from another dimension. But and they are not in agreement with like Christina Aguilera hitting their kid with a meat log. That's all I'm trying to say. So it's like, if we want to be taken seriously, if we want to really move the needle forward, we have to isolate what it is that we're really talking about. What are we talking about? Because I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I'll tell you what I am talking about right now and at all points going forward. I am not here to try to alter the cultural decisions of society based on what I believe is right. If I believe that you shouldn't hold hands until you're married, you shouldn't have sex until you're married, if I believe that you should that having two wives is bad or whatever, my job is not to tell you what to think. My job is to try to tell you how to think, not what to think, how to think, what to think, how to think. Okay? So how to think. Me telling you Christina Aguilera is bad and you shouldn't pay attention to it is me telling you what to think. Me saying that this is a distraction, that's how to think, okay? Let's pull it back another way. What I'm focused on is the policies in place that restrict people's ability to live their life. I'm interested in America through the lens of politics, lawmakers, and the way that those lawmakers act and how it affects our life. What you choose to do in your free time, the cultural side of things, whether I agree with it or not, it's your freedom. It's your right to do it, even if I disagree. If I believe in free speech, I believe in free speech. If I believe in free expression, I believe in free expression. If I believe in the Constitution, I shouldn't want more power to the government, more fucking laws, and more people to be shamed because I don't believe, what they believe ideologically. It's like, who am I to say that you shouldn't be able to do that? If you want to take your 13-year-old son to go watch Christina Aguilera make a fool of herself, is it against the law? Is it? If it's not, I don't give a shit what you do. I may think that it's wrong, but I don't care. That's your shit. I got to worry about mine. I'm worried about the law. I'm worried about the Constitution. I'm worried about the will of free peoples. I'm going to generally suggest things that I would be culturally valuable to people that I want people to see the world generally the same way that I do. And I'll try to make a rational and logical argument to lead them down that path so that they might think a different way and thus make a different decision. But I'm not going to say you can't do this, you shouldn't do this, and therefore Big Daddy government and the long pen 15 of the law has to club you over the head with it because I think it's bad. Or what people will do is they'll be like, oh, it's because of this. I read it in this scripture, or my whoever says that this is bad. Look, I get it. A lot of people are in their thing, but it's like, that's your thing. I'm not here to talk to you about religion. And I know a lot of people align themselves with that, and that's great. That's good. But what I'm doing, just me, I can only speak for myself. I'm trying to focus on the policies and the laws that influence the way that people are able to freely or non-freely move through reality. I want you to be able to be more financially free. I want your business to succeed. I want there to not be unjust laws about how you treat your health. I don't want you to be able to have your kids taken away because somebody disagrees with you ideologically. I don't want you to be able to say something and be censored or shunned from society. I want you to be able to do whatever you want, pursue happiness, live your life, follow the book of the law, follow the Constitution, and then the government should get the hell out of your life. That's the only thing that I care about. To me, that's winning the war and not winning the battle. The battle is Christina Aguilera. The battle is the place in Texas. The battle is whatever other bullshit squirrel distraction that they give us from moment to moment to day to separate us from the real fucking thing that happens. We're out here tripping over nickels. We're out here tripping over dollars to pick up quarters. We're tripping over the shit that matters to pick up the shit that doesn't matter. We're losing sight of the real things, the real influential things. You know what matters more than Christina Aguilera in a pea-soaked park in Los Angeles? The fucking supply chain, the inflation, the money in your pocket, the ability for your fucking family to prosper and eat food. That shit matters way more than Christina Aguilera or any fucking parade or any bar in Texas. And I'm not happy about it, but I'm trying to hit the top level things. If we have 100 things that matter, I can guarantee you that 20% of those things make 80% of the results. It's a rule of nature. 80-20. It's called the Pareto Principle. If you have not heard of it, look it up. Pareto Principle, Pareto. The Pareto Principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. 20% of your actions create 80% of your outcomes. It is a law of nature. 80% of the population of the world is in 20% of the places. You wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. You wear 20% of your shoes 80% of the time. You talk to 20% of your friends 80% of the time. You go to 20% of your favorite restaurants 80% of the time. 80-20. It's a rule of fucking nature. If you look at your clients, if you run a business, 20% of your clients make up 80% of your income. 20% of your clients generate 80% of your income. 80% of the world's population is in 20% of the countries. Okay? It is a rule. So it's like, what the fuck is in the 80? Because I don't give a shit about that. I care about what's in the top tier, the 20, the Pareto Principle. In business, we learn about prioritization of what's going to make the biggest dent in the objective. Okay? 80-20. What's in the 20? If it's not in there, I don't care about it. I don't care. I don't care about Christina Aguilera. If she's in the 80, get the fuck out of my brain. Get off my airwaves. Get out of my chat. You understand? It's like, is this the top tier? Is this moving the needle? What is in the 20%? You know what's in the 20%? Election rules, the ability to have free and fair elections, the law, the enforcement of those laws via the Supreme Court and the lawmakers, the people that actually control the world and holding them accountable and to task. The lawmakers matter way more than the cultural people do because they're all intertwined anyhow. But it's the laws, the rules, the laid out map that's set by the people who really hold the control, not cultural control, the real control. That's who we really have to focus on. It's the Second Amendment. It's the First Amendment. It's the letter of the law. It's the ability for the police to show up on time. It's the ability for you to keep your job or run your business without them taxing you into oblivion. It's the ability for you to have money in your pocket that's not eroded away through inflation and government having excessive spending policies that bankrupt every person in America and every person in the future. That's the shit that matters. Christina Aguilera doesn't matter. What happens in those parades, that shit don't matter. It matters culturally, but just understand that you're in the 80. You're not in the 20. You're focusing on the shit that does not matter big picture. And I'm like I said again, it's important to shine the light on it, but lose the battle, win the war. We have to win the war. What's in the 20? If it's not there, disregard it, because you know what's going to happen if you had an adversary that really wanted to clap your cheeks. You know what they'd be doing? They would be whipping things in the 80% at you left and right. So you were like, squirrel, squirrel, and they just would get you off the heat. They would get you off the 20 that really mattered. They would get you off the 20% that would actually move the needle. Yet on the other side, what are they worried about? Are they really worried about what Tucker Carlson said last night? Are they really worried about that? No. You know what they're worried about? Taking your protection away. They're worried about the Second Amendment, not the Eighth Amendment, not the Fifth Amendment, the fucking second one and the first one. They're literally on 1 and 2. And we're out here on 96. Like, no, it's just like, this is the trap. And I think this is why we lose. They understand that if there's a quarter, if there's a nickel, if there's a dime, if there's all this shit sitting on the ground and there's a dollar there, all I got to do is pick up the dollar. Even if the total of all the quarters and all the dimes and all the nickels is more than the dollar, I can grab the dollar faster. I grab the dollar, I move on, I find another dollar. They understand that the 20% that moves the 80% is the only thing that's actually worth focusing on, because that's the top level stuff. And every other thing to me is a complete and total distraction that separates us from winning the war. And it gets us small, micro, easily forgotten wins that are theoretically there for now that don't matter later. What good is it if there's a law that you can't have a show in Texas if you don't have a weapon to protect your house? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I understand that you don't have to just lump every single thing in, and I'm not making fun of or pointing out or suggesting that anybody that brings that up or talks about it is bad or doing something wrong. I'm just saying, could we maybe laser in on the 20% that actually really matters? Just because I disagree, just because I think it's not great, just because I think that it's reprehensible morally, culturally, whatever, just because I think it might be bad for the youth, and I think that that's obviously important, it doesn't change the fact that your money's being eroded right now. Your First and Second Amendment are being eroding right now. They're taking all the other things right now. You're entangling you in foreign affairs that are going to jeopardize your. None of these laws are going to matter if we're getting carpet blasted by Putin, or by President T-shirt, or if they're bankrupting us and all of our future present and every single person imaginable into oblivion. If Gine is outproducing us, outputting us, out GDPing us, and clowning us, taking all our intellectual property, using all of our colleges and schools to send all their kids here, and then ship them back there to take all of our technology, we're about to get clapped. And we're out here running a race, and we're like, I don't like your T-shirt. It's like, run the race, you know? It's just like, I don't think you should be running with that T-shirt on. It's disgusting that you're running that. There's people here that would be impressed by you. I don't like that T-shirt. It's like, you're losing the race. That's my point. That's what I'm saying. Yet we find ourselves trapped in this like cultural pearl clutching, and it is a complete and total distraction from all the things that really matter, in my opinion. So I just feel like this is the type of thing. These are the types of moments that make people that consider themselves to be, and like you have theoretically Republican, freedom-loving senators and House of Representatives that are voting to take your rights away. these are supposed to be people that are supposedly on our team. It's like, let's talk about them. Let's talk about how bad they are. Let's try to hold them to task for all the bad things that they're doing, giving your rights away. I don't care about Christina Aguilera. There's a lot worse things that are happening literally right now. That's what I'm trying to say. Yet here we are distracted while they're all eating our lunch. And I think that at the end of it all, what we're losing is hard to quantify, and any distraction that we fall victim to is because we don't have our mindset lasered on the true prize. We're going for the low-hanging fruit. If you were going to rob a bank, the smartest thing that you could probably do is pretend that someone's robbing the bank down the street or set a fire to the building next door. You know, that's how you would do it. You would create a diversion, a less important diversion that takes people off the scent of the thing that really matters. You would have one of your lackeys rob a bank for $500 and do a 3-year bid or something, has no weapon, that robs the bank next door, that gets all the attention over there, while you guys take bricks and bricks and bricks of gold bars out of the place right next door to it. You would create a distraction. This, like most things, is a cultural distraction intended to take well-meaning people off the scent of what really matters. The example that I've given time and time again on a number of different podcasts is that if your home, if America was your livelihood, your country, every single thing you hold dear was a home. Let's say it was a home. Let's just use this analogy or whatever it is, simile, whatever, doesn't even matter. Everybody is worried about the front of the yard. They got a fence up, they got a gate, they're looking at the front of the house, and they're happy that they're protecting people from walking up to the front door while people are robbing everything out of the back. It's like you're focused on this half of the house while they're looting you blind in the back. If I wanted to take everything from your house, I would make you think that I'm failing at taking the plastic furniture off the front porch while I was taking the gold bars out of your safe in the back of the house. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're just like, give them a Christina Aguilera with a bejumbled dildo on stage in Los Angeles, like the demon urine hole of America. Meanwhile, we extract their very ability to protect themselves and their family right under their nose. They're like, look over here, ex-Tina's slaying queen. It's like, And the thing is like, so I was thinking about this before, and I was like, all right, if I talk about this, right? Well, what's the easiest accusation? Well, you're not a man of God. You don't care about the kids. Typical left, typical lib mindset. Well, if you don't agree with me, carte blanche, then you don't care about the kids. If you don't think that every person in America should not be able to possess this thing, then you want the kids to be hurt. It's the same trap. And if that's what anybody thinks that would be generally considered to be on my side of the understand that, like, we're not so different, you and I. We're not so different, us and them. We have this propensity to lump everybody into this binary, when in reality, it's just not that. We wrap cultural matters into political matters. It's just everything is politicized. It is equally our responsibility that everything is politicized as much as it is the politicos, the politicians. We're the ones that politicize it. We're like Christina Aguilera, dildy, left, lib. Like, it's just, that's crazy. You could be a person that believes in Bernie Sanders, free college, free money for everybody, minimum wage is $8,000, and AOC is slaying queen, and you could not agree with that. But we're just like lumping everybody in, and they do the exact same thing about us. It's like, oh, you're this, you're a proud. It's like, you're a proud blob. You're an oath. You're a blob keeper. You know, you're a freaking erection. So it's just like, I would try to implore people that I believe are highly intelligent and capable of seeing the truth to remember to not fall into the exact same trap, to not say and lump in every person that we believe to be X. the divide is such an easy play. It's the low-hanging fruit of the disagreement. It's the easiest way to be like, it's their fault. When the reality is like, it's the parents' fault. If they're breaking the law, it's the city's fault. It's the law enforcement's fault. It's the county's fault. It's the owner of that bar's fault. It's the individual's fault, not the general ideology that they may tend to fall into more often than not, or the political party that they may or may not align themselves with. And again, it's like, if you look at me and you say, oh, well, you don't care about the kids. You must be this. You want them to groom. You let groom. Now you're there. You are boxing me in to the exact same trap that you hate that they put you in. You're putting others into a box that you don't want to be put in. We have to be more self-aware. And it's like, the message that I keep hearing loud and clear through all the people that I highly respect and appreciate in this world, they keep saying, it's like, you want to save the world, fix yourself. Start in here first. So I'm like, okay, well, what am I doing wrong in this world of garbage? What's the thing that I'm doing? Lumping people in and boxing them in and saying it's this because they align with such and such. If I see ex-Tina slaying in Urine Angeles, I can't say, oh, that's Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because they'll just be like, everything to them is Donnie. It's Donnie. It's Donnie. It's Jason. It's like, that's what they do. So I really do believe that we are all, and when I say all, I really mean all. I mean, like, all people of America. I think that we have a lot more in common than we actually think. And I think that if we're not going to fix what they do by just being mad at it, we have to fix what we do. It's like, you have to take the theoretical high road. You have to be better. So it's like, what if we got better at this thing? What if we got better at not lumping in everything? What if we got better at not being distracted by the cultural gotcha of the moment and bringing it into the political conversation? It's like, what does Christina Aguilera and that parade have anything to do with, you know, liberal policies, with progressive policies, with all these other bad things? It's like, that parade is not necessarily all the T's. It's not the what is a woman crowd. It's not, they're not all the same, just like you're not all the same of all the things that you believe in. If you, let's say that you were a person that considered yourself to be conservative, and let's just use an example. Let's say that you were like an atheist. Does that make you not conservative? No, but a lot of people would say you are. And they would say all conservatives are X, all right wingers are X. And like, we're not all like that. If we could just be better and smarter at identifying what it is we're really talking about, if we could understand using the same words. Like, if you're going to get an argument with somebody, I think that, or a discussion or a debate, what I always think is the most important is that you understand what the words mean. What does this word mean? Do we both agree on the definition of a word? Anybody that's watched Steven Crowder do his Change My Mind, he always talks about defining words, because if you can't agree as to what a word means, then you're not talking about the same thing. If I say tomato and you say tomato, or if I say there, THERE, and you say there, THEIR, we're saying the same thing, but they mean different things to us. We can never see eye to eye because we're not agreeing on the definition of words. So it's like, we need to agree on the definition of what our objective is in this greater picture. It's like, I don't know what your objective is, but what my objective is to focus on the laws, rules, lawmakers, and policies that create an environment that we either are suppressed or we can raise and thrive. I want an economy that can grow on its own. I want people to be able to earn their own right and create their own wealth. I want people to be free to be able to preserve their wealth. And I want people to be free to do and say things that I don't like, that I believe are morally or culturally reprehensible, as long as they don't break the aforementioned rules that are outlined in the Constitution, of which we all agree to follow. And I want to hold the people to task that create these laws, that create and enforce all of these laws, and create either limits or free markets for us to either thrive or be suppressed inside of. That is my objective. I'm not here to run the cultural game. I can shine light on things that I agree or disagree with, that you may agree or disagree with, but I'm focused on the policies. I'm focused on the lawmakers. I'm focused on the Constitution, and I'm focused on the playing field. I'm focused on the war and not the battle. And I think that all of us should be a little bit more laser focused on that, because like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're tripping over a pile of pennies and quarters. If there's a dollar right there and you could grab the dollar and it's worth all the coins or more, then that's what you need to focus on. It's 80-20, the Pareto Principle. It's a law of nature. Focus on the 20%. It'll give you 80% of the results. Don't get hung up in the 80 or we're going to lose. That is my message. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you to whoever bought the badge. I think it was Chooks. One badge. Thank you, Chooks, for the badge. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. 80-20 is the Pareto Principle. Look it up. It's a law of nature. Just look it up. Type in the 80-20 rule or the Pareto Principle, the 80-20 rule. It basically says that 20% of your actions create 80% of your results. You wear 20% of your shoes 80% of the time. You wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. You talk to 20% of your friends 80% of the time. If you own a business, 20% of your clients make up 80% of your revenue. You go to 20% of your favorite places 80% of the time. You go to 20% of your favorite restaurants 80% of the time. You eat 20% of your favorite foods 80% of the time. Is a rule of nature. 20% of the world's countries have 80% of the world's population. It's a rule of nature. 20% of the things you do 80% of the time. So that was like a 1 hour rip. So I haven't been interacting with the comments or whatever. So I know it's late. It's like 11:40. I don't have my surgery tomorrow, thankfully, but I'll answer a couple of questions or read the comments for a few minutes before I go. So I'll stick around for another like 10 or 15 minutes, but Bo Jiden uses his brain 20% of his brain 80% of the time. That's great. People are saying they can't buy badges. That's a bummer. Well, go to bobbysauce.com if you want, or you got the Venmo and Cash App if you feel so inclined. If not, just share the channel. I appreciate that, but it's all good. No worries. Somebody said, thank you, Colombian Cafe. Somebody said, thank you, Deborah, for the safe surgery. Appreciate it. Joshua says, are you planning on running anytime soon? No. I certainly would believe that it would be in my future, but not anytime soon. Thanks, Chooks, for the badge. Appreciate it. Thank you, Sable. Appreciate it. Doesn't Broward politics drive you nuts? No. Like I said, I try to focus on the big picture. I don't want to get wrapped up in the small things. Thank you, Leah. Yeah, so I basically won't be able to make any reels or talk for, I would imagine, a couple of days. So I would say starting Thursday, you're probably not going to hear from me until Monday at least. So we'll see. Yeah, Josh, on Facebook, I certainly would not be opposed to it. It just has to be the right time and the right place. Thanks, R151554. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah. Just a reminder, if you're on Instagram and you don't already follow me, hit the carrot right here and follow me if you don't already follow me. I know most people do, but if you don't already, please make sure that you don't follow me. Will said on Facebook, what's the surgery part? I'm getting my tonsils taken out on Thursday morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. because I have sleep apnea, and it's not good. Yeah, I'm getting a tonsillectomy. That's not going to be good. But whatever. That'd be okay. Thank you, Miss Nicaragua. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jesse CT. Thanks, John. Yeah. Thank you, Jerry. Am I still going to be able to yell? No, not for a couple days. Everybody keeps saying it's going to be pretty painful. Yeah. So, yeah, not looking forward to it. So I figured this might be my last live. I have a kickball game tomorrow night, so I probably won't be able to do a live tomorrow. So this will be my last live for a couple days or a week or whatever. But if you liked this video, share it. It'll be on my Facebook page. It'll be on my YouTube page. It'll be on this Instagram account. It'll be everywhere. So share it if you wouldn't mind. I would really appreciate it. Get the message out there, and that would be great. Thank you, Angela. Not for a couple weeks. Yeah, people are telling me I'll be out for a couple weeks. I don't even know. I hope that I'm not, but it's entirely possible. Yeah, my tonsils are huge. They're like absolutely absurdly big, and they block my throat when I'm asleep, and it makes my heart work too hard. And over the course of my lifetime, it probably would be very bad for my heart, and that is why I'm getting it done. Get a robotic typing talker. Yeah. Do I have to be juiced or to provide a negative test to go in the hospital in Florida? Yes, I had to take a clap test today. It's fucking stupid. Live on smoothies, yeah. Make some cool memes. Yeah. I'm going to do what I can. I'll maybe use the opportunity to work on the store or make some more merch, or, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but thank you, Riss Peter. Have them take the adenoids as well. Yeah. Miss Nicaragua says, saw your video on Biden's address on Rumble. We couldn't stop laughing. That's awesome. Yeah, Rumble is pretty cool. Some of my stuff does really well on Rumble when I don't post it anywhere else. So we'll see. But yeah, that last video, Joey Teleprompter Takes Your Rights, it was called. Yeah. Yeah, it's apparently it's a little bit more painful and challenging when you do it later in life. Obviously, I'm 35, so can you take it home in a jar as a keepsake? Chooks, I'm going to keep them in a jar and I'm going to ship them to you. All you have to do is Venmo me $82.80. Thank you, Rebecca. How hard is it to get on Rumble? It's free. You just make an account. There's no cost. Yeah, Chooks, you should bejazzle them and make them into a beanbag and wear them next year at the rainbow show. Thank you, John, on Facebook. Yeah, so this was a really good message. I haven't been this on a specific topic in a live for a while, so I'm glad that I got to get that off the old chest there, Bill. But I think it was important to do that, so I'm glad that I think this live was good. I saw a lot of people weighing in. People are like, what is Rumble? Go to rumble.com. You'll see. Am I getting shadow blobbed? Probably, yes. I wouldn't be surprised. They don't want people like us to win. Certainly, they do not. Tonsils t-shirt. Oh my God. That would be nuts if somebody bought that. You won't be yelling for a while, so nice work. Yeah, it's not ideal. I hate everything. Do I like salmon? I don't know. Maybe, I guess. I like to call it salmon. But I mean, salmon's all right. Yeah. Yeah, I am on Rumble. Am I saving the live? Yes. This live will be on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Somebody says, what does the 7th building t-shirt mean? All right. Somebody else is going to have to answer that. Just type in building 7. Just type it in. You'll notice you're sleeping a lot better and more refreshed waking up. Bobby Tonsil art. Yeah, maybe I'll come on and I'll do a live where I don't speak and I'll just draw pictures and sell them on Venmo for $20. My address for Rumble is take naps. Rumble.com/take naps. Somebody said, have you heard from the person who sent the Canadian package? Yes, I did. The woman that sent it, she said that she just thought I should read the book and the rest of the stuff was just for fun. So people were like, it's hexed, burn it. And I was like, what? I don't think a human person that follows my account that like bought gifts for me and paid to ship it to me would be like, oh, let me do, So no, it was very sweet. I just didn't know. I was like, I don't even know what this is because there was no note. But can I make some badass 4th of July shirts? I feel like lots of my stuff is 4th of July flavor, but yeah, what kind of stuff would you want on a 4th of July shirt? I feel like so much of my stuff is Americana. I just put in some new stuff recently with like a soldier and a flag. I just added a bunch of stuff just the other day. Go to bobbysauce.com and check it out. I've got a lot of stuff on there. But I'm certainly happy to make some more. I just haven't. I feel like everything is already. Thanks, Colombian Cafe. Appreciate that. So I was at First Form Summer Smash this past weekend, and I met a lot of cool people that thanked me for the work that I'm doing and appreciate it. And it's so nice to meet you guys in real life. It's very joyful. I couldn't tell you how many events or bars or concerts or whatever else. And it's like, I've always been cool, but nobody knew that. So when I go to these events and people come up to me and ask for a picture and be like, oh, I wasn't going to say anything. It's like, I will repeat this 500 times. If you see me anywhere in the world, I don't care where I am, unless I'm like sitting down at a nice dinner or something, if I'm out in the world, like, please feel free to come up and say hello. And I'm happy to take a picture with you. I met a person on the street in St. Louis. So please feel free to come say hello. I don't bite. I love meeting people that follow the channel. Just don't be weird. Don't tell me a story that's 43 minutes long. Just be socially aware of what's going on. And don't be weird. And as long as that's the case, I'm happy to take a picture with anybody or meet anybody. Barlow, you're an absolute hoot. Love your content. Thank you so much. Am I coming to Washington State? Not anytime soon. All right. I'm getting tired. It's almost 12. Bought a shirt yesterday for my pops, Winter for Death. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Big Baller. Yeah, check it out, guys. bobbysauce.com. Support the channel. Much appreciated. I love that. Thanks, that guy, Jesse. That's what's up. Yeah, meeting people is cool as hell. I'm all about it. Come to Vegas. Yeah, I mean, I go to Vegas usually every year. I have not been there this year, but I was there in November. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much. Facebook, YouTube, freaking Twitch. Peace out. Thanks for being here. Much love. Appreciate you. See you